So you're all alone with
Yeah,
your Doritos.
yeah,
You got your...
yeah, I'm all Mountain Dewed up, and I have a bag of nacho cheese Doritos since my wife is out of town.
Mhm. That's the way to roll.
Yeah, I've degraded to my 22-year-old self in the matter of an hour and a half.
Good job. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Aniki, or Aniki, the podcast about anime with two brothers, Ben.
Oh, yeah, and I'm John. I was going to ask if instead this week we should be Aneki, since that's what Oreki calls his sister, because it's like a feminine version of Aniki, right? Because
it is
hardcore.
Actually, yes.
No, I know. It's funny.
I thought if we ever had the wives on, we would just rename it Aniki for that episode.
All right, shall we start off talking about Hyouka episode 3 and the confession of Chitanda?
Indeed. Whiskers returns.
You didn't. I did the pause again because it's Chitanda.
Yeah, I figured.
Chitanda.
Unfortunately, we don't have that visual, but I'm sure you are doing the cat paws.
Oh,
as cute as can be.
Well, I'm not quite sure cues can be, but I'm definitely doing them. All right, so again, I would just want to reiterate how long notes are for Hyouka, considering it's a bunch of talking heads. I think the only show I would have longer notes for is if for some reason we decide to hate ourselves and do Bakemonogatari, which is a great show, but it would require us writing a novel every episode.
Well, and this particular series has the added complication of there are stupid mysteries, and you're not quite sure what is relevant and what's not, so you have to write everything down.
So where did we leave off in episode 2?
So at the end of episode 2, our two protagonists, Oreki and Whiskers, aka Chitanda, are sitting in a cafe.
Yep.
And Chitanda is about to confess something of a deep personal nature to a slightly shocked Oreki. That's episode 3 begins.
Yeah. So we're right back in the cafe with Chitanda about to confess. And I love this because we have a little bit of fantasy layering here because the ticker on the fancy German clock behind them is a heart. And that's awesome.
So I didn't actually notice that quite right away.
You didn't? Oh, yeah?
I saw it. I was like, okay, the pendulum on that clock is a heart.
Yeah.
But I just thought, well, it's a cafe in Japan.
Yeah. See, I thought that too.
It has a heart. Why wouldn't it have a heart? But then after a bit, it changes back and you realize, oh, some metaphors have been dropped.
Oh, yeah. Like the background visual metaphors all over the place here. So, Chitanda is about to confess, and she says, super serious, in reality, the truth is, I want to ask you a favor.
Yeah.
And Oreki's face is just like so confused. It's glorious. He's just
I was
like,
half expecting, maybe like Oreki was, that she was just going to announce, I'm really curious.
That would be pretty good. About things and stuff.
And just general everything, actually.
I mean, I do like how she is very polite, because that's part of Chitanda's character, right? Like she's very polite from upper class Japanese culture, and she's like, it's a personal matter. I have no right to ask you to get involved in it, but I'm gonna ask. Oreki's like, sure, yeah, I'll at least listen. You've built it up this much, and just like that, poof, the clock goes away from being a heart, and it's just a normal clock. His dreams of having a rose-colored dato with Chitanda have been shattered.
I will say though that in that brief moment when she's about to say, "I just have a favor to ask you."
Yeah.
There's a buildup of Kyoto Animation doing every specular effect they could.
Oh, just about
every shiny surface.
Oh yeah,
like the clock face, the clock pendulum, Chitanda's eyes, her
they
hair,
are ready. They are ready.
Is shiny, and Oreki is just immersed in this bath of light.
Yeah,
and it's just a favor.
Oh yeah, no, they're loving it. They're milking this for all it's worth. They're really selling you on the she's totally gonna ask him out, you guys, and she doesn't. All right, so we have the opening theme again, and the name of this episode is A Descendant of the Classics Club and Her Reasons.
Resources.
Resources? I thought it was reasons.
Resources. Nope.
See, the good news is
I wrote it down
I can't,
this time.
Cool, because I can't read, For the longest time, I thought JoJo Arc 2 was Battle Tenacity. But it's actually
I
Battle
said that
Tendency.
to a friend, and he's like, "You mean tendency?" I'm like, "No, I'm pretty sure it's tenacity because my brother told me. And he's seen it like a million times."
I have, but you have to understand that when you're a little dyslexic, that words just become what you expect them to be rather than what they actually are. And when dealing with English and Japanese, well, it all falls apart really quickly. And in my defense, Battle Tenacity sounds way better than Battle Tendency. So
it really does.
Just throwing that one out there.
So, a descendant of the Classics Club and her resources.
Her resource mostly being Oreki.
At this time, yes.
All right, so once we get back, we go deep on the meta plot for this part of Hyouka. So here's the deal. Chitanda's uncle, Sekitani Jun, who is going to be super important for this half of the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chitanda basically needs Oreki's help to remember something he told her.
Yes.
That's the big favor.
He said something to her in her youth that made her cry.
Made her cry really bad.
She
like,
can't
super
remember
hardcore.
if she cried because she was sad or angry or happy, but she needs Oreki to remember what he told her for her.
Yeah, like this is super important. Also, when she's going through this little backstory thing, you get a super cute animation of like kid Chitanda in like a little pop-up book, and it's really cute. Because basically, Sekitani Jun was a member of the Classics Club like forever ago, and she asked him about the Classics Club, and he answered, and she cried, and her mom was like, Chitanda's throwing a fit, I'm gonna go console her, but Jun did not. Jun did not even try to console her. But why does all of this matter? So basically, Sekitani Jun disappeared 7 years ago in India. And the amount of time that has to pass for a disappearing person to be declared legally dead in Japan, according to the show at least, is about 7 years. So Chitanda wants to remember what her uncle said before he's legally declared dead.
Correct.
There you go. And that's why this whole little thing is the only reason why Chitanda joined Classics Club. Because she wants to know the secret behind Sekitani Jun and Classics Club that went down 45 years ago.
Right. I don't know if you noticed this. It's this little Easter egg, I think. But when she's explaining that her uncle went missing in India 7 years ago, the shopkeep is holding a newspaper, and on it says "missing Japanese man" in English.
Oh, I noticed that by
the picture of a man.
I didn't realize it was sort of a plot relevant thing. Oh, that's cute.
I'm sure it was a coincidence, but it was written in English, so most the Japanese audience probably didn't see it.
Yeah. I do like how I have written here as the giant mystery of the show is what made Chitanda cry. Chitanda. Chitanda.
We're just having great fun with her name.
Well, it's good. Chitanda. She cried, and we need to know why. That's our super legit mystery, you guys.
That's the big one.
All right, so she explains all this to Oreki, and Oreki shoots her down and is like, nope, not dealing with it. He's like, I solved all the other mysteries out of pure luck. Chitanda's like, just let me rely on your luck, Oreki. And he's like, nope, don't care.
Then she starts going through like every mystery he solved so far.
Yeah.
And he gets the shiftiest, most shame-filled eyes when she brings up that poster.
He does.
Like, he cannot look her in the eye. She's like, but you solved the missing poster. And he's like, yeah.
Super solved that one. Yeah, he monologues internally that this mystery is a little too legit for him. The issue's too big. It could affect Chitanda's whole worldview. So he's like, I can serve energy, and I do not want to deal with the responsibility for, like, blowing this girl's mind. So no way.
Mm-hmm. I did think it was interesting that she's only coming to Oreki, she says, because she can't trust anybody else with her past.
Yeah, which is really interesting. And it's
really interesting because she's so far, except for this one personal reason, she seems to be super extroverted.
Yeah,
but
she
at
does.
least in this case,
she
she's the exact opposite. Super
Yeah.
introverted because she can't tell people about her uncle because it was in her past, made her upset.
Yep.
So tying this back to a theory I had last time.
Oh, sure, shoot.
She has either two reasons why she doesn't want to bring this up to other people. One is she doesn't want people to think that her uncle said something terrible.
Oh, that's fair.
Which may be, in fact, the case.
Yeah.
But she might also be hoping that people don't find out she cried once.
I doubt that. She's pretty...
But that is something a yandere would do.
Oh, we're circling back to the Chitanda is secretly a yandere.
She's secretly a yandere, I think.
Well, I did write down in my notes about this scene when she's talking about how she wouldn't trust anybody else with her past, but she's putting her trust in Oreki, is she puts the shame smackdown on Oreki. Which is pretty much what she does.
So also, yeah, you're just feeding into my theory here.
No,
and this is what I'm hanging my hat on it.
You're hanging on your hat. Yeah. Chitanda, can we put yandere in Chitanda somehow? I don't think we can.
Yandere?
A bit of a stretch, but I guess we'll allow it.
Chibi yandere.
Yeah, I like how she says that one of the reasons she's latched onto Oreki is because Jun, like Oreki, would answer all of her inane questions. And while Oreki might not answer them as nicely as Jun does, he still answers them. It's like, good job.
My.
Not as nice as an old man who would answer questions.
She really knows how to like pull him in. And
yeah, she does. She knows how to manipulate this poor guy.
But the worst part is while she's going through all the reasons, why she wants him to help her, we get this nice little cutscene of her in a elementary school outfit, the blue coat and the yellow hat. And she's out digging in the sand, digging for something that's missing. And Oreki is displayed sitting on a park bench, watching this adorable little girl struggle and struggle and struggle. And he's like, I can't be bothered with this nonsense.
Well, until he remembers like his sister's letter that's like, you don't have anything better to do, right?
Yeah, but we get quite a long time with him just watching this little girl do this. And
yeah, he's a bit cold.
Cold miser in here.
Yeah.
This is mad.
Yeah, he's sometimes like he's not a bad guy, but dude, he's lazy.
But then he remembers that he does in fact have nothing else to do.
He has nothing else to do. So maybe he should.
He decides to commit without committing.
Yeah. He says, I won't take responsibility. So he won't say yes. But, he'll think about it. And if anything comes up that's helpful, I'll let her know. Yeah. So I have written here, so, he'll help, but not really. Hashtag Tsun. Baka Inu, etc., etc.
Oh my.
So basically we have Chitanda, a closet yandere, set up against Oreki, who's totally tsundere. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
they're a match.
They're a match made somewhere, deep in someone's kokoro. So I don't know.
So at this point, the scene finally ends, and I should point out that with theme included, we've spent 9 minutes in a cafe.
Yeah.
With two characters talking.
Well, I mean, this is some deep stuff, right? Like she needs to figure out what her uncle said, so she can keep what he told her deep in her kokoro during his funeral because he's being legally declared dead. Like that's some deep stuff, right? Like that is some emotional stuff.
That's some quasi emotional stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's legit.
Sure.
Well. After the cafe scene, we get more sweet monologues of Oreki about rose-colored school life.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everything's sort of put on hold during school midterms. They really like dating how long the show is taking place in. Because we started on the first day of school, and we're at midterms now, in first year.
And in fact, there are no club activities during midterms.
Yeah, so they sort of put the whole Hyouka thing on hold for a while, which is why we don't really talk about the anthology in this big starting bit and everything. There's a great little scene here where he's like taking tests in montage format, and they sort of cut back between him studying in his room and taking the tests, and you sort of see how his room gets worse and worse and worse. Kind of like me with my Mountain Dew and Doritos as soon as my wife left town.
Yeah. I did notice, though, that for a person who prides himself on not expending energy, he basically has a sports montage about how hard he works at midterms.
Well, I mean, he says he conserves energy. Yeah, he conserves energy. So if he has to do it, he'll do it as long as he can do it as quickly and as efficiently as possible. So I mean, he's not like NEET levels or hikikomori levels, like lazy. He's just like, he's not going to go out of his way to do more than what he has to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like he'll fulfill his obligations, but no more than that, unless Chitanda is curious about something.
Of course, can't say no to that.
Oh no, you can't. After this monologue, we do get another letter from his sister.
Yep. Oreki One-chan is now in Istanbul.
Hold on. Is she in Constantinople?
I don't know. I think it's called Istanbul.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
Not Constantinople.
No, you might have to take that up with the Turks.
Yeah, why would they change that name?
But she's writing her brother from the Japanese consulate due to a, quote, mistake she made.
Yeah, a misunderstanding has put her in the custody of the Japanese authorities because she does not want to get arrested in Istanbul by the Turkish authorities, and that's awesome. This is how sweet Oreki's sister is. What I like about this is she mentions in her letter that this trip's been a heck of a thing, and I'm sure I won't regret it 10 years from now. And I think it's a really good reaction out of Oreki, who's like, yeah, maybe I should actually live my life and not just bum around. But, it's hard.
It is hard. He doesn't really want to.
No. In this letter, she also brings up the anthology and about how he needs to be writing one if he's a member of Classics Club. She says the old issues aren't in the library, but they're in the club room, so he should search there. Well, we already know they're not there because he's already done it. But then she says they're in an unused chemical box.
Yes.
Sweet. Awesome.
With a combination, but it's not locked.
What I love about this letter is how it's Deus Ex Onesan, and that's awesome. Though, as we mentioned earlier, it's technically Aniki. He basically calls her mob boss sister, which is pretty sweet.
Yep.
Pretty much between him calling her Aniki and the fact that she is currently, holed up in the Japanese consulate, tells you about all you need to know about good old Lady Oreki. I don't know. I don't remember her actual first name.
I don't either.
I'm sure it's there somewhere, but I didn't write it down.
Well, anyway, as soon as the letter's done and finished, we cut back to the club room, and lo, the safe is not in the geography prep room.
Super not in the geography. Oh, now, did you notice the super important thing as soon as we cut back?
Chitanda has a cold now.
Chitanda has sneezes, and she has a cold. This is very important, because remember, she has super senses.
She sneezes like once, and her nose is slightly pink. Those are the clues you get that she has a cold, but it is important.
Very important. So there's no chem box in the club room, and Chitanda flips out about how it's not here, and it's really cute. She throws a sweet little fit here, and it's totes adorbs is what I wrote down, because, well, Chitanda's kind of totes adorbs, but there you go. So Oreki mentions that his sister graduated 2 years ago, and the club room has changed, and he's already figured out what it is. He's gone to go see their supervisor, and it used to be the biology prep room instead of the geography prep room. Yeah, there you go. That's hard to say. What I love about this is in the club room, not only is Chitanda and Oreki there, but Ibara is here. We learn that she has formally joined Classics Club. And when she learns that Oreki has already figured out what the club room is, she gets snipey again, and it's awesome.
Yeah, she's teasing him. Oh, I thought you weren't going to do any work on anything like this. And I sort of had the same feelings, but then he puts us both in our place. He's like, well, I would have had to do that anyway, so...
I just cut to the chase. Remember, if I have to do it, I'm going to do it quickly and efficiently.
Yeah. So we find out that it's in the bio prep room now.
Yeah, it's in the bio prep room. Well, that was the old club room, so that's probably where the chem box is, because that would make sense.
Yeah.
It's biology. So that's where they need to go. Chitanda is thrilled. She and Ibara start heading out the door. And they make it all the way out the door. Oreki's still sitting there in Geo Prep. He pulls out his light novel and starts reading.
He starts reading. And then all we see is Chitanda moseys back in.
It's like,
towards
okay.
Oreki, lays a hand on his shoulder. The camera cuts to black. And then in the hallway,
here all three of them are.
Outside the bio prep room, she's following around. And I have written down, what dark arts were practiced that we cannot witness?
Her eyes. You know, the usual.
Unspeakable horrors.
All right, so here, as soon as we start getting into the hallway, our stupid mystery starts up. You may think that our stupid mystery for the episode is going to be about the anthology, but oh no, it's not. Our mystery starts up like immediately as soon as we start in the hallway. On their way to the bio prep room, Oreki notices that there are two things taped to the hallway walls.
Yeah.
They get to the bio prep, and guess what? It's another locked door.
Someone really likes locking doors in this school.
Well, locked door mysteries are like the mystery, right?
Sure. Usually it's the other way
like
around, though. You're locked in the room, not locked out of the room.
No, not necessarily, because usually there's a murder in a locked room, and you have to figure out how it happened, because the room was locked the whole time. It's like the quintessential like mystery. It's the locked room mystery.
Sure.
It's right up there with how is a raven like a writing desk?
No one knows.
No one knows. Well, we know now.
Oreki noticed those things on the wall in the hallway, and I should point out that they look like little bubble levels.
Yeah,
they're just sort of been taped vertically on the wall.
Yeah, they do sort of look like that. Yeah,
about an inch tall. I couldn't figure out what they were.
Really? I remember even watching it the first time, and I was pretty sure what they were before he explained it. But anyway, they go up to the locked door, and Chitanda and Ibara sort of knock. It gets unlocked and answered, and from inside the room we hear a fan. Ooh. We learn that the room is the Wall Newspaper Club. A guy comes out into the hallway, steps out into the hallway.
A bishi comes out.
Oh yeah, no, he's a hottie.
A bishi.
He's a pretty big hottie. He steps all the way out of the room and closes the door.
Super suspicious.
Yes. And Oreki sniffs and smells like a spray-on, like Axe body spray, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah. He doesn't mention it out loud, but he internalizes this. He's like, dude is spraying Axe all over himself. He
just has this deadpan look on him, and he's just looking at this bishi standing there. And the bishi just looks at him, gives him this death glare.
Oh, yeah. Probably because Oreki is still trucking around with two ladies.
And all I can do at this point is Oreki smelling perfume, but I smell shenanigans.
Ooh, I like it. Well, Chitanda actually knows who this guy is. He's another member of the upper class circle. Let's see here. I wrote down his family name much later because I missed it the first time. I just called him News Dude for a while in my notes before I took time to write it down. Oh, Togaito is his name. Togaito. But we can just call him News Dude. And
he gets very nervous.
Oh,
when he learns that.
When he learns out that
she's that Chitanda.
Yeah, he gets pretty nervous at this, and Oreki definitely notices that everybody is nervous. So his gears are already churning. He's not playing with his hair yet, but he is alert. Chitanda starts explaining why they're there. Like, we need the anthologies. They're probably in your room. Blah 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 blah. News Dude says he's not seen them. And Oreki's like, all right, off we go. And again, Ibara's like, done. No, get back here.
He has no time for suspicious-san.
No, he super doesn't.
My suspicion is maybe he's found the anthologies, being the newsroom guy.
Oh,
and
he wants to keep them
used them for something or destroyed them in other ways.
See, again, you think about these mysteries as being so much bigger than they are, and that delights me.
I know, and then I'm always disappointed.
You've not yet learned that the mysteries are just dumb. They have nothing in except Sekitani June's. His mystery is actually kind of important, but all the others like super don't matter. So at this point, like Ibara even starts arguing with the guy. And, well, Ibara is much better at arguing than Chitanda is, because Ibara will get mad at the drop of a hat. But he's like, super no. Still not here. You're not searching. Go away.
But then Chitanda drops the bomb.
Oh, yeah. Well,
if I can't search that room, we're going to have to search the
whole
school. And Oreki just stops cold.
Oh, he's like,
in
oh,
his
no.
tracks.
You wouldn't do that to me, Chitanda, would you? You wouldn't do that to good old Oreki.
Yeah, she would.
No, super would. What I like about this is right before is he's walked away and Ibarra goes off and is like, so, Oreki, do you think this guy is suspicious? As if Oreki wouldn't notice this. And he's like, yeah, he's super suspicious, and also I super don't care why. But then here comes Chitanda with, if it's not here, we're going to have to search everything. Poor old Oreki.
Oreki's like, okay, dude, no more games. We're going in that room.
We're going in. We're making this happen. He starts arguing. News dude finally relents and lets them in, but tells them not to make a mess. All right.
He has let loose the locks which bind this place.
He is both the gatekeeper and key master to this room. Now we've got to describe the room, or nothing that comes after will seem wondrous.
So he walks in, and the main part of the room, which matters, is it's got a bunch of windows.
Yep,
they're open. There's a fan running. It's sitting on a desk right inside the door.
Oh, yeah.
On the right, there's a giant whiteboard with notes and some layout ideas for the newspaper. On the left, there's a bunch of filing cabinets. And in the middle, there's a bunch of very large cardboard boxes, which on the top of are 2 large wooden boards, which are clearly being used as a desk for the newspaper club.
A big makeshift table.
With there's some layouts sitting in front of the fan, slightly flapping in the breeze, and other various accoutrements for making it.
Yeah, the fan is on the close side of the room to the door. Then there's the table, and then there's the windows. So it's definitely blowing out the windows over the newspaper layout. And News Dude is the only one there. There's nobody else. All the other club members are just out at the time. There's this really great animation of like the camera pulling back from the windows all the way back to behind Oreki's head, and I have it being super Oreki Detecto Vision.
We finally get to see what he sees.
Yeah, this is how he sees all of reality, as a slow zoom out to behind his own head. Basically, his superpower is he has camera in third-person mode the whole time. He has over-the-shoulder cam all the time. Oreki starts grilling News Dude. He's like, was anything moved out of the room when Newspaper Boo moved in? Anyway, News Dude does say that some cardboard boxes were moved out. And dear brother, is a chemical box made of cardboard?
Well, having never seen one, no.
Imagine a chemical safe. A safe in which you would keep dangerous chemicals that has a lock on it. Would you put a lock and dangerous chemicals in a box made of cardboard?
Probably not.
Probably not. So there we go.
But I would consider it.
I mean, that's fair. Let's see here. We get a nice monologue with some fake phrasing from Newspaper Dude. He goes on about how I wasn't there.
There's a lot of rambling, but we've quickly ascertained that Oreki knows where the anthologies are.
Or at least he knows
where
something.
The case is.
Yeah.
But he thinks, you know what? I don't want to get it.
Yeah.
Because it's too hard. I'm going to try to make Suspicious Son get it for me.
Yeah. Well, that would be bothersome. So maybe I can make him do it. Which is just like some great internal monologuing. Yeah, so Oreki announces to News Dude that he's just going to have to go ask his club supervisor to help him and the girls do a full shakedown on the newspaper room until they find what they're looking for. And News Dude, like, gets the best face. He is full on panic mode. He is losing it.
Suddenly,
he's sweating bullets here.
Let loose.
Oh, yeah. Oreki pushes even more and is like, dude, we're going to have to find it. So, I mean, we're going to have to do everything. And then News Dude explodes. You are not searching this room. Get out, get out, get out. The girls look super nervous.
Oreki's like, you know what? I'll tell you what. We'll just, if you happen to find them in the next little bit, we're gonna we're just going to be like out. So if you find them, could you just leave them in the geography prep room?
Yeah.
And we'll just pick them up there. We won't bother you anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, if you just happen across them and you don't want our supervisor in the room, you can just, they're probably somewhere. If you see them, just drop them off. We're gonna go ahead to the library. So if they're there in like 5 minutes, dude, no questions asked.
Yeah. And so they leave.
Oh, yeah.
Chitanda and Ibarra are very confused, but they figure, Oreki's been pretty on the ball so far.
Well, what I like is as they leave, news dude like stops and is like, dude, Oreki, what is your name? I need to remember this because it is on like Donkey Kong. And he's like, yeah, he gives his name and he apologizes to the guy too, which is really great. Because he's like, I really didn't want to do this, but you see, I'm lazy, so sorry.
Yeah.
So our little triad leaves the room and just goes out into another hallway, by the way. They don't go all the way to the library.
Right. They just sort of hang around the corner from the geo prep room.
Oreki gives this, allows this time to ask Chitanda a little bit more about Togaito's family. And Chitanda's like, yeah, his family is upper crust. They're really influential in education. Like, a lot of his family works for education. And Oreki's like, oh, well, that would make sense as to why this stupid mystery worked out the way it did.
Mm-hmm.
So they wait literally 5 minutes out in this hallway. Just 5 minutes. And then they go back
he's timing.
to the... he's timing it. And then he goes back to the Geo room, being like, that's probably enough time. And blammo. All of the old issues of the anthology are sitting on their desk. Like magic.
2 giant stacks of books just magically appeared.
And what's the name of the anthology?
Hyouka.
That becomes important later, but that's the name of the anthology. And, like, the girls, especially Ibarra, are like, how in the world did you do this? And Oreki's answer is the best. He's like, just some light blackmail. And they're like, what do you mean blackmail? You didn't even say anything. How's this blackmail? And then we get more super cute animations to explain how everything went down.
Yep.
You get this cool effect of the situation they were just in, but this time like time frozen and colored up like newspaper comics with the colored dots. Very Andy Warhol.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did he figure all of this out, and what did he figure out? First, he's like, okay, so you noticed the fan, and it was pointed out the window towards the manuscript that could have been blown out the window. Why in the world would you set up a fan like that?
Yeah, whatever he was blowing out was clearly more important to him than his layout.
Yeah, than his layout. So what was it? Well, Ibarra does have an answer to that. He's like, well, he needed fresh air. He's like, yes. But the question is not what did he need, but why did he need all the fresh air in the room? And also, why was the door locked, and why were there infrared sensors outside? Where I was like, infrared
and that's when we learned what those are.
Yeah, he's like, infrared what's-its? It's like the little gizmos that were outside on the walls. Those little things, they were obviously infrared sensors. Also, there was a box on his desk that would make a beeping sound with an antenna. So, why would news dude need to go through all of this trouble? And it's simple.
It is simple, and it's just obvious and sad.
Yeah, everyone would know this. Like, if you had a room that had a fan and sensors outside, it would be because you want to smoke.
Pretty much.
There you go. All of this was to get rid of the smell of tobacco. Because remember, high schoolers in Japan can't smoke.
They can't. And since his family is super in education...
Yeah, if you were to get caught, it would
the
be
most trouble.
Massive. And he's like, yeah, well, if Chitanda hadn't had the cold, she probably would have known instantly.
Yeah.
And that's why it was important why she had the sniffles.
And then you think back, did she have this cold the whole time? When did she get that?
I was like, oh, yeah. No,
you're like, oh, yeah, she sneezed once before.
Yeah. But Ibarra still presses. She's like, well, that's all well and good. But, yeah, where in the world were the anthologies? And Ibarra and Oreki's like, well, in the lockbox, of course. And she gives him a death glare. Full on like, okay, that's not what I was asking.
He's like, fine. They're under all the boxes and under the desk with the boards and such.
Yeah, he used it as the base of his makeshift table. The dude probably keeps his cigarettes and lighter in there, which is why he didn't want anybody searching for them.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he knew they were there the whole time. And after he explains all this, Ibarra just gives him a look. And it's just like, Yapari anata, hen. He's like, I knew it all along. You're weird, Oreki. You're just weird. No one comes up with this crap.
She's not wrong.
She is not. So after all of this explanation, in bounces Satoshi.
Yeah, the door flies open. Satoshi waltzes in. Who, by the way, it should be noted, he's been absent from this episode because he was at Sewing Club.
Yeah, he was at Sewing Club for the summer fashions.
On the summer fashions.
So he comes waltzing in, dressed as a sunflower.
He is a sunflower
with
head to toe,
with like beehive cell sunglasses.
Yes.
And he like comes in dancing and like doing his stuff, and Oreki just deadpan is like, dude, we found the old Hyouka manuals. Doesn't mention the outfit at all.
The girls just sort of look up and like, hey, Satoshi, and just go back to what they were doing.
Yeah, they're just like,
this is a normal thing.
We're not gonna deal with this. We're not gonna give Satoshi the satisfaction of being that weird. We found our stuff.
Yeah.
All right, now here's where things get real.
Yeah, we're getting heavy now.
Yeah. Chitanda motions Oreki over to the side because it turns out her uncle, Sektani Jun, is actually referenced. Well, not just referenced in the second issue of the Hyouka annual, but she recognizes that issue, and she recognizes as that being the thing she asked her uncle about that made her cry.
All those years ago.
Now, brother, did you notice the cover of Hyouka and how it's like super weird?
I noticed that it had some traditional Japanese line art.
Yeah,
sort of like ukiyo-e style.
Yeah, sort of like
but
a
I didn't notice what they were.
All right, so the cover of the Hyouka annual is like a yin yang in the center, sort of an Ouroboros of a wolf fighting a rabbit. While all around the edge, a whole bunch of other rabbits are looking on, both watching and trying to ignore the fight that's going on.
That's some pretty heavy stuff for some high school students.
It's super weird, right?
Yeah.
And inside the cover for Hyouka issue 2, this is being like an issue that's 45 years old, there's a big, long disclaimer about Sektani Jun.
Mm-hmm.
Which I will now read in its entirety. It's really not that long, but I mean, it's important for the plot of the show, so it's important that we know this. Let me get a good voice and see if I can do this and do it justice. The cultural festival has come again this year. A year has passed since Sektani Senpai left. In this past year, he has turned from a hero into a legend. Our conflict, our sacrifices, and even his kind smile will fade gently into the mists of time. No, it's better this way. It must be forgotten, because it was, most definitely, not the story of a hero. Eventually, all subjectivity on the matter will be lost, and it will be viewed from a historical perspective, as a classic. One day, we ourselves will be the classics of the future. October 13th, 1968. Ko Oriyama Yoko. Either way, yeah, some pretty deep stuff there in Hyouka 1. So whatever happened to...
But we do learn two things. One is, it turns out, they is the classics.
Yeah, they is the classics.
Yes, that's the important thing. And the second thing is, my original assessment of Oreki in episode 1 being some sort of character out of the classic novel Kokoro.
Oh, yeah.
Is super backed up by this weird note in this book.
Yeah,
because it's all like, oh yeah, he was a good guy, but maybe he did some stuff back in the day that we're not so proud of. Yeah. Now we're going to go find it, and then the past is going to come to the present and destroy everything.
Well, it doesn't get quite that depressing, but yeah. No, it's true. So yeah, I mean, that's some pretty deep stuff. We learn that Sektani Senpai was definitely part of Classics Club. Something pretty bad with him went down 45 years ago.
Apparently it was pretty cool first, but then they found out maybe not so much.
Yeah, maybe not. What else? Oh, the good news is this should all be easily solved, right? Because they say it's been a year since all of this went down, and this is issue 2.
So let's go check the
So let's
volume.
Go find...
it's
Ibarra
missing.
finds out volume 1 is missing.
Oh.
Yeah.
How convenient. for the plot.
Yeah, exactly. And with that, the episode ends and we get more Chitanda and Ibara rolling around on pillows.
Yeah.
But right before the end of the episode, Chitanda does give a bit of a really good monologue about whether or not she wants to keep searching about this. Because she's like, it says it's supposed to be forgotten, but, you know, she really wants to remember, and she hoped that it doesn't lead to, like, infinite Zetsubo. Just infinite despair. And she doesn't want to go dragging up the past. But Oreki points out that even in this note, they're like, well, once it's history, it'll be okay to talk about it again, because it'll actually have that historical perspective, so we can talk about it sort of removed. So it will be okay to keep doing this. So let's keep searching up about June.
And that does soothe her spirits.
Yeah, no, it's a really good scene.
So, recapping this episode, I would have to say that this has probably been the most boring episode.
Well, I mean, it is very dialogue heavy. There's a lot of setup in this episode. It's true.
Yeah, because on the one hand, you've got the 9-minute cafe scene.
Yeah.
Which is like screenwriters' hell. You shouldn't do that. Never have a cafe scene. Plus, the mystery, it was just like a micro mystery.
Yeah, it was really small.
Dude doing in the room.
Yeah, it was really minor. That's true.
Other than that, I mean, the thing with her uncle in the past is super playing into the Kokoro trope.
Yeah.
But that's also a classic.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's a really important episode because it sets up a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the stuff that happens in it isn't the most exciting, and that's fair.
Yeah. But it has been the most growth that we've seen from Oreki so far. None of it has been really obvious, but it's been like different sidelong glances, maybe different words he'd use for certain sentences.
Mm-hmm.
His attitude towards Chitanda at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Like, suddenly he has a little bit of compassion on her.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, this episode, more than any of the ones we've seen so far, definitely let you know that this was a light novel first because of how dialogue heavy it's been.
Mm-hmm.
I think they do a good job of keeping all of the dialogue very visually interesting, which is one of the reasons why they do like the little fantasy sequences or the alternate animations whenever they talk about the mystery itself, or even just the shot swapping. Like there's some like really good shots in the cafe scene to make it, you know, as visually interesting as two characters talking can be.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, not too bad.
It was okay. If it's a setup episode, it's a setup episode.
Yeah.
Can't really get away from those.
Exactly. Especially since this is like the major plot going forward for this half of the series.
So next episode will be what? Past days of something and something. Past days of Classics Club and its glory.
Oh, yep. The past days of Classics Club and its glory. There you go. I forget what this next episode is. I think it ends with them starting the...
I don't know, but the thumbnail I have for the episode is Oreki twirling his hair as kanjis and clocks drift through his mind.
Yeah, that sounds very...
I can see the kanjis for like numbers and to be continued and day and flowers, and there's a lot of like nostalgia themes.
Yeah,
in whatever he's thinking about.
And see, the thing is I just can't remember how long it takes him to go through the Sektani June storyline. It's either like a full 6. I think it takes the first 6 episodes, so it just sort of depends.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Hyouka 3. You haven't watched any, what's it, have you? What's it called? From the New World.
No, not yet. I did watch 6 episodes of Yamishibai.
Oh, Yamashibai! How'd you enjoy them? They're really good. Some of them are super creepy. Which ones did you watch?
Well, I've watched the first 6. I did it in like 20 minutes. I'm a little disappointed in that maybe it just doesn't translate as well to animation as I thought it would.
Sure.
But at least the first 5 started out with a typical Japanese ghost story setup.
Yeah.
But then the ghost ends up just being a jump scare in almost every single story. And then the last one I watched was a guy on the train, and he sees like this
the weird
blob thing.
Yeah, that one's pretty solid.
And it just sort of talks to him.
Yeah.
And then it crawls on his arms, and then that's it.
Yeah. Most of them, from what I recall, are more just like unsettling thing happens at the end rather than a true jump scare. You get a couple of those, but still a little more unsettling.
I mean, it's not like the American equivalent. When we have a jump scare, we have like silence, and then the thing happens, and there's a freaky noise and loud volume. In these, it's the loud volume thing doesn't happen.
No. It's just creepy thing pops up.
Yeah, it's there now, and then the episode ends.
Let's see. I'm trying to remember some good ones. There's a good one with like some shadow kids that's really good. There's one. I want to say that's the Yamashibai with a person who goes to a creepy hospital. That one's really good.
That's the second one.
Is it?
I've seen one where the guy moves into an apartment and there's Ofuda everywhere. The one where the guy's in the hospital with some creepy guys.
Now, hold on. Is this the one with the person coming to the door at the end?
No, this is the one where he's leaving and some guys on the roof are giving him the old bonsai.
Oh, I like that one. No. I'm thinking of a different one. I don't want to spoil that one for you. Okay, so.
All right. And then the next one was the one where the little boy is at a country house and his family has to laugh throughout the night.
Oh, I like that one too. That one's pretty cool.
The fourth one is the teacher late at night copying
a
stuff.
copy machine. Yeah, it's clogged with hair. Everywhere. Yeah, the Japanese love their hair horror. Couldn't quite tell you why, but that's what they like.
Because hair by itself on things it shouldn't be on is already kind of unsettling.
I guess
in everyday life.
It's never really bugged me, but no, I can understand
it's not like it's just sort of vaguely gross.
Yeah, it's sort of unheimlich. Yeah, no, I understand.
And then the next one after that was the guy on the elevator.
Guy in the elevator.
He tells his family that he wants to be alone.
Yeah.
And then he goes on the elevator, and it keeps going to floors that don't exist.
Oh, I don't quite remember
and
that one.
And then the one after that is the one with the creepy thing in the overhead rack.
I like that one. It's just like this weird thing.
And that's where I'm at.
Yamashibai's good. Also, the ending theme is super great. It's like a little Vocaloid thing.
I like the little thing at the beginning.
Oh,
because it's just this really creepy old man in a mask and a hat showing up to some playground and being like, "Hey kids,
Iterashai miterashai Yamashibai no jikan de dayo." Yep. Iterashai miterashai Yamashibai no jikan dayo. Come and see. It's time for Yamashibai. Simply speaking.
And it is super creepy.
Yep. It's a good show. Super micro episode, so I mean, not much to talk about, but I mean, it's really creepy.
I did make my wife watch Cat Soup.
Cat Soup. That one I do not know.
Have you seen Cat Soup?
No.
You need to watch Cat Soup. It is a 30-minute movie.
Cat Soup.
I'll tell you the synopsis right now.
Well, okay, so that's all. Just this little trailer is already pretty creepy. Oh, it's an experimental film. Well, that explains a lot.
The plot is little boy Kitty.
Yeah.
His older sister Kitty dies.
Sure.
And he goes to the underworld to get her spirit back.
Well, that sounds friendly.
Mm-hmm. I can't really spoil anything else for you.
Okay.
Because I can't describe anything else, so you just need to watch it.
Oh, yeah, I'm just seeing screenshots from it. Very super flat, isn't it?
My wife isn't very good on the literary analysis part of watching things.
Yeah.
Like with Fooly Cooly, I asked her, what'd you rate it? What'd you think of it? And she's like, I don't know.
Well, that's fair.
Because I don't know if it was good or not. I'm like, yeah, that's about right.
You have to see lots of anime for that even to start to work. But yeah.
Yeah, you just need to take 30 minutes of your time, watch Cat Soup.
Yeah, Annie and I are still churning through Smile Precure and Glitter Force by extension. Somehow Glitter Force manages to suck out all of the joy and happiness that's in every episode of Smile Precure. What is fascinating about Smell Precure is somehow they heard about all of the American episodic tropes that we have and put them into Precure, like the body swap episode and everybody gets tiny episode. Like all these things that are pretty standard as American tropes, but you don't see much in anime, and for some reason this has sort of found them. So that's pretty cool.
That's funny. Now,
so I guess we should move on to
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 1, Phantom Blood, Chapter 3, Time with Dio.
Youth with Dio.
So the episode itself is hard-coded to say Time with Dio, but the episode title on Crunchyroll is Youth with Dio. So,
yeah,
yes.
Either one.
It does start on a dark and stormy night with JoJo having proof of Dio's devilish plot.
Yeah. So last time on
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 1, Phantom Blood, Chapter 2, I forget its title. What happened?
Letters from the Past.
Letters from the Past, that is correct.
Yeah. Dio had just gotten back from trying to make sure that A, JoJo is dead, and B, that the mask works. Or to see what the mask does.
The mask definitely works, though I don't think it's in the way that he thought it would.
Oh no, not at all.
It technically kills a guy, but then it also turns them into a vampire.
He is a vampire. And so he gets back. He's figuring that JoJo's dead.
Yeah.
But he walks in and with the candelabra lit.
Yeah.
JoJo walks out from behind a curtain and is like, Dio, I know what you done did.
Know what you did.
And thus, episode 3 begins.
Yep. So, first off, I want to point out how my notes for Hyouka are, like, really long, talking about, like, all the subtle things in the background and this and that, and the super important facts. The only quotes I do are, like, things that are important to the mystery. Here, with JoJo, I have tons of direct quotes because everything everyone says is awesome.
I'm glad you have quotes, because I just have, like, reactions to things with exclamation points everywhere.
Yeah, I have lots of caps when I do this. There's lots of caps locks.
Oh, yes.
And lots of exclamation points and lots of pretty direct quoting, because JoJo is awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a dark and stormy night, and JoJo has proof of Dio's devilish plot. See, whenever I say a word, turn a phrase like Dio's devilish plot, that's usually pretty key because it's definitely a direct quote from the translation.
Oh, good.
Let's see. It's, oh snap, it is on, son. Dio's been found out, but he says that he didn't come to run, and I have hashtag these colors don't run. They fight. They fight with JoJo.
I just have ultimate showdown of ultimate destiny happening right now.
Yeah, so right after just that like super short intro, we get the opening, and then JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 1, Phantom Blood, Chapter 3, Time with Dio / Youth with Dio.
So the theme is starting to grow on me, like, pretty heavily. I'm starting to feel it.
Do you like the part where he walks up the wall in the theme? Because spoilers, that may happen this episode.
I figured it would when I saw it last time.
Yeah.
Especially with the fire in the preview for the next episode.
So, after the theme, we definitely start with them fighting, right?
No, a lot of talking, but mostly posturing.
They start with a very nice conversation at a candlelit table. It's very romantic.
Well, maybe not that last part.
It's romantic. JoJo says he's found the antidote and he's heartbroken over Dio's sudden but inevitable betrayal.
He says, I've given him Papa Joestar, the antidote.
Yep.
And I assumed that Dio just sort of stood there like a guy while he did that. I don't know when he found time.
Well, I imagine JoJo did that before Dio
got back?
Yeah, that's what I say. And, you know, since JoJo's so heartbreaking and everything, he's totally just going to, like, rip off on Dio and just go ham on him, right? He's going to fight him right here. Oh, yeah, he's just going to turn him over to the cops.
Yeah, and he feels really bad about it.
Yeah, like, super bad.
He's like, come on, man. I can't believe that I have to turn you in to the cops.
It didn't have to be like this. We were thick like brothers.
And Dio realizes that he's been caught. He's like,
yeah,
JoJo, just grant me one favor. Again with favors. Let me turn myself in. It's the least I can do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he turns up his Dio charm. And I like it because Dio's like, I expected him to fight like a cornered animal, but here he is being cordial and gentlemanly. And while Dio is doing this sort of super self-aggrandizing sort of like, oh, Jojo, you're so compassionate, let me turn myself in, Dio makes a sweet face. It is like literally letter D equal sign. Like that is the face he is making. He is trying to sell this. But of course, he doesn't mean any of it, and he gets a super sweet internal monologue to say that Dio's just pissed that Jojo didn't actually die, and he's just looking to distract him long enough to stab that gentle SOB.
Yeah. He's biding time to mask him to death.
Yep, because Plan Mask is back into effect.
But even knowing that, he's going on pleading, and the audience is like, man, even though I know he's evil, and this is clearly going the way I think it is, he's making a pretty good case.
Yeah, no, he's laying it on thick. He's like, I grew up poor, and that made me greedy. I came back just to turn myself in. And he starts, like, tearing up. Here come the waterworks.
Hard life, man.
Yeah, like, I'm so sorry. Dio reaches into his sleeve, probably to pull out a knife to stab Jojo, since he has already internally monologued that his plan is to pull out a knife and stab Jojo. And Jojo is about to buy into it. He's about to come over and comfort him. But what's this?
Out from the curtain
comes Oddjob.
It's Oddjob,
but we finally he introduces himself. Yes, and what is his name?
Robert E.O. Speedwagon.
And for those of you following along at home, it is REO Speedwagon, and of course, this is on purpose. Get used to the best
name and the best character so far, I would argue.
Get ready. Oh, yeah. This whole episode, REO is like the best because he is just like dude watching.
Because even now, even just as he's reintroduced himself, I have written down here, what a bro.
He is such a bro. He spends this whole episode just like commentating and weeping.
But that is an understatement given what we're about to witness.
Oh, yeah, it's great. So, first off, get ready for tons of band references. And get ready for them mostly only to be heard in the audio track because they can't actually translate them as the band name or they can get in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's a part in Stardust Crusaders where there's two guys who are named the Oingo Boingo Brothers, but they can't say that in the subtitles, so they have to change their names. But every time in the Japanese, they're of course saying Oingo Boingo Brothers, and you super know that's Oingo Boingo, but they can't translate it that way, so they just have to cleverly hide it. And
that's the best.
It's awesome, because every time, it's like, yeah, dude, I know they're the Oingo Boingo Brothers. They have a song where they say really loud, Oingo Boingo Burazazu. But nope, can't translate it that way, even though they are clearly saying it. Oh well, so why is REO Speedwagon here?
He's come up behind the curtain to say, hang on, guys.
Yeah.
First of all, Jojo, don't fall for that crap. And second of all, I grew up on the streets, and I can smell a pile of puke a mile away.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Jojo, this guy here, he reeks of it, son.
Yeah.
He was born bad. He was born evil.
He's like wicked due to circumstances? No, he was born evil. Yeah. Because he's so worried that about Jojo's gentlemanly naivete that he has come back to Jojo to explain to him #real life.
Yeah. And Dio is taking this in, and he's sitting there like he's the king of bad.
Oh, yeah, he is so evil. I have that he is bad to the bone, because, well, he is.
Oh, yeah.
So, what does REO do to help prove his point?
He pulls out from behind the curtain yet again.
Vegeta. He pulls out Vegeta from behind the curtain.
The Chinese apothecary.
I ask you to tell me that he is not Vegeta.
He might be King Vegeta, yes.
He looks exactly like Vegeta, but with like a Fu Manchu. And
the moment he does that, I'm like, how many guys are back there?
Oh, just wait. We will get a full count. Oh, yeah. So he pulls out Vegeta, and he's like, this guy's the one who sold you the medicine. And then he pulls back the curtain some more, and everyone's back there. Papa Jojo, the cops, everybody. And I have, is this it for our hero, Dio? And also, like, Papa Jojo goes on about Dio and how he treated him like a real son. And I have Papa Joestar isn't mad. He's just disappointed. And he is. That's how cool a bro Papa Joestar is. He is actually not mad. Like, this is not like a ploy. He's not mad at all. He's not really angry. He's simply heartfelt and purely and gentlemanly disappointed that this would happen.
If he could get around better, he probably would have sat down at that table with Dio, put his head in his hands, and been like, I never treated my father like this.
Probably. Well, I'm not sure he would even do that. I don't think he would be so psychologically manipulative. I think he would honestly like walk up, give Dio a big hug, and be like, I'm so sorry. It's all my fault that you were raised this way. Oh, he's just so like pure. Have you figured out that the Joestar family are the good guys?
Just a little bit.
It's just so hammy. It's great. Yeah, Papa Joestar moves to go upstairs, and Vegeta tells Papa Joestar that we won't be able to hold Dio. You see those birthmarks on his ear? Dio was born with the devil's luck.
Yeah.
And
I'd always assumed that those 3 dots were piercings, since they're like in a nice little line.
I thought so too, but they're not. They're
nope. They're moles.
They're birthmarks. They're moles. And then
plus
Dio
he has those evil eyes.
Yeah, yeah. Dio makes his move and is like, all right, I'll go along. But I want my real cool and super awesome friend and brother, man I would trust my life with, Jonathan Joestar, to be the one to cuff me. This is a great idea, Jojo. You should definitely do this. Yeah. So, of course, he does.
Into a thing about, like, humans having limits and all these limitations humans have. And you're like,
who does? Dio does. Dio starts monologuing. Being human means having limits, and the more you scheme, the more life poops on you. So long as you're human, at least. And Jojo's like, why would you say this? And Dio's just like, because I'm throwing away my humanity. Here we go.
Mask and knife.
Yeah, he just pulls out the mask and the knife. He moves to stab Jojo, but Papa Joestar, the true hero of the piece, throws himself between Jojo and Dio and is the one who gets stabbed.
Yeah, so let's pause here and take a moment to consider that just a second ago, Papa Joestar needed some serious help just getting out from behind that curtain.
I don't think you understand the conviction of the Joestar family.
I know, but I mean, these two, Dio and Jojo, are like the best fighters ever. Mm-hmm. And Dio, in his murderous rage, his stabby motion, Papa Joestar has somehow materialized between the two of them as a surprise.
Jojo had to get it from somewhere, right?
I guess.
I mean,
must be in his rugby blood.
It is. It's his rugby blood. Yeah. So Dio puts on the mask, smears Papa Joestar's blood on it, and pop goes the mask. The cops are like, holy nut, and they shoot Dio out the window. They shoot him so much that the giant window that's behind them this whole time that I didn't notice before, he gets shot out of it.
Yep. Now he is out on the street.
Oh, yeah. Super
bleeding.
Super dead.
Twitching.
He's super dead.
And dead.
Yeah, super dead. Meanwhile, dying Papa gives Jojo his wife's ring, as the head cop is like, dude, let me tell you the story about this ring. And we go on this nice long diatribe about how awesome Papa Joestar is and how rotten Dio, the Brando family is.
Yeah, Dio's dad tried to pawn off this ring, and he got caught.
Yep.
And the cops are holding him. And Papa Joestar shows up and says, did he tell you that I gave him this ring? And the cops are like, oh, yeah, he tried to pull that stuff on us. He's like, oh, that's because I did.
Oh, yeah. And Papa Joestar's like, that's because he was telling the truth.
And then he takes the ring, gives it to Dario and says, here, even though this was made for me and my wife when we were engaged,
I want you to sell it so you can feed your family.
Yeah. We should also point out here that Jojo's mom had massive hands.
Yeah, she kind of did.
I mean, I guess it makes sense because Papa Joestar's pretty skinny.
Yeah, and Jojo had to get it from somewhere.
Jojo's enormous. So
yeah. ginormous. But yeah, Papa Joestar knew the whole time that the Brandos were like rotten and awful, and he still let Dio into his life. How awesome and how gentlemanly and how pure of heart is Papa Joestar? While he is dying.
From a stab wound.
Yeah, having been stabbed by Dio, who was trying to poison him, is like, don't blame Dio. This is really all my fault anyway. If I hadn't been so bad to him, none of this would have happened.
Don't hate him.
Don't hate him. Then Papa Joestar says, like, the best thing. It's not so bad to die in the arms of your own son. That is heavy, Papa Joestar. Heavy.
And he passes from this world.
Yeah, and just as soon as he dies, Ario Speedwagon just is like, what a tragedy.
And everyone's like, oh, this such a horrific thing has happened for such a man to be taken from this world. And Speedwagon, with tears in his eyes, is like, he's not dead. He's passed on his noble spirit to his son.
Let me tell you, I have this directly quoted. No, says Speedwagon. Sir Joestar passed his noble spirit along to Jonathan. It has become his iron will, his pride, and it will create his future.
And we cut to this amazing just art.
Oh, yeah.
Of Jojo holding his dad. Like,
oh, yeah, this is just so great. It's the most manly stuff. He goes on to say, they live life with no regrets. They are giants. And I'm like, this is stuff I want somebody to say at my funeral. This is sweet. All right, so after this heartfelt, sweet monologue by good old Ario Speedwagon.
Yeah, he looks outside to stay his emotions.
Yeah.
And Dio's gone.
Dio's gone, and I just have OF word as Dio from above rips a cop's head in half.
Yeah. There ain't nothing left but his jaw and some fountains of blood.
Rips a guy's head in half while going as he does. And as that happens, we go to commercial break. This show is just the best. There are not words to describe how amazing JoJo is.
Oh man, I was not expecting suddenly like shades of Naruto coming back and haunting me.
Oh, it's so great. Well, we come back from the break as Dio poses himself down off of the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And as he poses, you see his ittle bitty little baby fangles. He's a vampire. They're ittle bitty fangles. Well, Jojo grabs one of the cops' gun and is ready to just blast Dio away, but he can't. He's like,
he can't.
Dude's my brother.
Yeah, the words of his dad still ring loud in his ears.
But what's this? Blammo! He gets a shot right between the eyes. Well, technically, like, just above his left eye, but, right between the eyes. And we're like, did Jojo actually do it? It's like, no. Good old Ario Speedwagon did it. He shot his brain. But it doesn't faze Dio at all.
No, just breaks the vase behind him.
Yep. And Dio's like, this marvelous power has come from the mask and your father's blood, says a flying, posing vampire Dio, who then shoves his fingers into the skull of a cop and sucks out all of his blood. He then super murders everyone else in the room by throwing them at each other and breaking Speedwagon's arm.
Yeah, he is in pain. He is down for the count.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what's going on. Jojo is so confused.
It's like, no. Our super archaeologist Jojo puts it all together and decides that Dio is probably not human anymore. He's like, the mask, the blood, my notes.
He might have had a better chance of figuring all this out if he still had a Sherlock Holmes hat on.
Oh, you're right. Well, so Jojo decides that it's time to throw down, and there's a suit of armor behind him. So he, rips the spear from the suit of armor and is ready to do it to it.
Yeah.
But, what's this? Ario Speedwagon is under attack? How can this be? One of the cops has been turned into Dio's ghoulish thrall.
I did not even know that was a power he possessed, but
neither
turns out...
did Dio.
He's like, huh, well, that's a thing.
But don't worry, Speedwagon-san, as Jojo super frags him. Just, takes the spear and chops this newly created vampire's head off.
Yep. Speedwagon is saved for now.
Yep. Dio flies up to the ceiling and then back down to super murderate Jojo. But Jojo, not wanting his undead brother to kill anyone else, because that's the way he rolls, he only wants to kill Dio because Dio's threatening the lives of others, because Jojo is pure and amazing, thrusts his spear upward, and then Dio catches it in his hand.
And it goes like all the way through his arm, just like Dio's own knife did in the previous episode.
Yeah, because I want you to know that when I say he catches it in his hand, I don't mean like it's coming down like a baseball bat and he grabs it by like the handle of the spear. No, I mean the tip of the spear goes through the palm of his hand and Dio catches it with the rest of his hand.
Yes.
Oh, and what's this we notice as he grabs the spear through his own hand? Dio's head is healed and is totally an immortal badass from now on.
Could be bad for our hero Jojo.
Could be bad for our hero Jojo. Dio then breaks and bends the spear just by putting his wrist down.
Like, it just warps all over Jojo's shoulder. Then the tip snaps off and stabs him in it. Right in the shoulder.
Yeah.
It's sticking out. It's stuck there.
Yeah. Jojo's like, F this, nabs Speedwagon, and then hides somewhere.
Behind the curtain.
Leaving Dio to try and find them. Well, Dio can smell blood now that he's a vampire, and he gets like this monologue about how, like, you know, he still needs to play some more in order to figure out all of his powers, and how the schemes of humans won't be able to threaten him. So he walks over to the curtain, pulls it aside, and Jojo just lights Dio on fire. Yeah. Jojo lights Dio on fire from behind the curtain, being like, this is not a scheme. This is courage. It's so great. I love the show. Well, Dio does a super, like, Frankenstein fire bad moment.
Yeah.
But, then he decides he doesn't actually care about fire and proceeds to beat up Speedwagon and Jojo whilst on fire.
And Jojo just takes the lantern that Speedwagon had been holding that started this fire and just sort of throws it on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And fire and oil everywhere. The fire just starts raging.
Yeah, they're going down,
more and more out of control.
Yeah, they're going down, this ring of fire. But Jojo picks up Speedwagon and tosses him out because he doesn't want Speedwagon to get hurt. And then he squares off to fight Dio again, alone.
Yeah. This is not Speedwagon's fight.
No, it is not.
He doesn't belong here.
So he's going to spend the rest of this fight cowering outside, commenting about how awesome everything is.
Yeah.
So Jojo squares off against Dio again. He pole vaults off a sword up to the second story, and then does like the Neo come here to fight me some more at Dio.
Yeah, it's probably, there's a lot of cool scenes in this episode.
Yeah.
But for me, when the fire is spreading and Dio is like gaining on him.
Yeah.
Jojo don't have time for that because he's too busy pole vaulting with swords while a spear is stuck in his arm.
Yeah, he does this. Don't worry about it. They're awesome. Well, in order to follow him, Dio should probably not be on fire. So Dio poses his flaming shirt off.
Yeah.
He does a pose, and this makes the fire stop and his shirt fall off. And that's awesome.
Yeah, it just sort of disintegrates away from him. And now his pants are fine.
Yeah. We now get the scene from the opening credits where Dio's like, I guess I could jump up there, but do you know what's cooler? Walking up the wall.
So he does.
All while
like
saying even
boss.
more of his catchphrase. This time it's muda, 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 muda.
Did he say that?
Oh, tons. He's constantly doing like muda, 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 muda. It's all useless. You can't take him on. Well, Jojo basically runs up to the roof of the Joestar mansion. Ario Speedwagon is watching this from outside and is like, this all makes sense. His plan must be to get the fire hot enough so that if the fire burns Dio faster than Dio can regenerate, he will die.
He will die.
That is the plan.
And that is Jojo's plan.
Not like the best plan, but hey, it worked for Roy Mustang in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. So,
yeah.
I mean, I guess it could work.
I mean, you gotta do what's available to you at the time.
Yeah.
And right now, all they got is fire.
Yeah. So Jojo makes it up to the roof, and just as he like turns around, ready for like part 2, Dio rees out of the top of the house and spins Zaku's Jojo in the face.
Yes.
Jojo manages to pull the spear out of his shoulder and uses that to block the kick. Granted, this is a kick that, like, kicked people in half, but Jojo can survive it because he's Jojo. Let's not worry about it too much. He has
courage and his father's noble spirit.
Yep, that is true. Jojo flashes back to how much of a jerk Dio was when they're growing up, and so he is ready to settle the score. He's ready to finally fight.
He has a flashback giving the episode its title.
Yeah,
Youth with Dio.
Yeah,
and he realizes finally, for some reason,
that
after this particular episode, this guy has been kind of a jerk.
Dio might be a bit of a jerk.
I guess I gotta do something about it. So he does.
So, and what does he do? Well, he shoulder tackles Dio into the burning Joestar mansion. All the while, Speedwagon is outside, losing it.
I don't think I've heard anyone scream the word no as many times as he did.
Oh, yeah. No, he's great. He's like falling to pieces outside at the idea of losing such a noble and pure and gentlemanly man as Jonathan Joestar.
Yeah, if we haven't figured out that Speedwagon is in fact the biggest bro in the world.
Oh, yeah.
He's now the biggest bro in the world.
He's the biggest bro in the world. So Jojo tackles Dio down into the burning Joestar mansion, trying to, burn him alive. But that super doesn't work as Dio just punches the wall and stops himself from falling while Jonathan keeps falling down. And we get an awesome bit where Dio, in English, just says, "Goodbye, Jojo." And he monologues some more about how everything Jojo does is futile, and now Jojo should be able to cry happy tears because he will get to go see his father as Jojo falls into the flames.
I mean, I guess at this point we might as well figure that Dio's kind of being nice.
Maybe
in his own way. Maybe he has had a hard life. He
has had a hard life. Burning dogs alive, stealing first kisses, sexually molesting young girls, poking Jonathan Joestar's eye out, kicking a dog, poisoning his father and adopted father, and stabbing his adopted father,
slitting a guy's throat, masking another guy to death.
Ripping a dude's head in half. Sucking
and
the blood out of
his worst offense so far, that feather coat.
Dude, that feather coat's sweet.
That feather coat, no. Can't abide the feather coat.
He rocked that look. You cannot tell me he didn't. Rocked it. Well, somehow, while Jojo is somehow involved in the longest free fall from 3 stories up humanly possible.
Oh, man.
He finds the head of the spear again, stabs it into the wall to stop himself from falling. He wrenches himself up onto what remains of the spear's handle, and
he leaps from the spear towards Dio. But as he reaches his apex, he can't quite grab Dio's foot. So as he starts to fall back down, he rips off his belt and uses it as a whip/lasso. And grabs onto Dio's foot and yanks him back down with him.
Oh, yeah. Pulls him back down in the longest freefall ever into the flames. Jojo, again, somehow conjuring more stuff out of nowhere, pulls out the father-murdering knife that Dio had used earlier, stabs Dio with it, and continues the fall, grabbing on to Dio, not letting go of him.
Yeah. And he cries out to his father, "Give me strength, father!"
Yeah, to hold on to him. Dio then says, "I have crushed his arms to dust, and he is on fire, but he just won't let go." I love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, you guys, so much. I have crushed his arms to dust, and he is on fire, but he won't let go. Jojo then channels all of the power of his ancestors and kicks the wall. That way, in midair, he maneuvers it so Dio falls, getting impaled upon the statue of the Joestar family guardian angel.
And there he burns.
Then he burns to death, dies, and is surely never seen or heard of ever again.
And as he dies, he remembers, oh wait, Jojo's the type that when you beat them down, the stronger they get.
The only thing I have after that scene is Dio burns up as Jojo escapes, Ario Speedwagon cries like a baby, and then the credits start.
Yeah.
Now, did you watch past the roundabout?
Of course I watched past roundabout.
Okay, well, I didn't know if you...
Because then
one of the last
afterwards we see
you don't watch the previews, but this one's important.
Well, generally I don't, but since I watch through the end of Roundabout every time,
that's true because you always want to.
It comes
Roundabout.
on right there.
Yeah,
we see King Vegeta walking around in the rubble doing who knows what. He's saying, you know what? I'm gonna try to find that mask. It's got to be around here somewhere.
But he doesn't find the mask. He finds the hand of Dio, as the hand of Dio reaches out of the rubble of Casa Joestar, and it sucks all the life out of King Vegeta.
And underneath the rubble, we see Dio's glowing eye, full of rage.
Then we get the Suzuku.
Yep.
Though technically we don't, because in this show it's always to be continued in English.
It is.
Because that's how JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 1 Phantom Blood rolls.
It was an amazing episode.
Yeah, what did you think about JoJo 3? A little bit different than Hyouka 3.
Yeah.
A few less conversations than, well, smoking is involved in both episodes. So, I mean,
actually, okay, if we're making connections to Hyouka, okay, so the scene where Jojo and Speedwagon are hiding behind that curtain,
yeah,
and Dio's like, "You fools, I can smell you from out here." I'm like, whoa, hang on. Did Chitanda's nose somehow get implanted on Dio? Or maybe is Dio Chitanda's great ancestor?
See, that's possible. Maybe Chitanda is a vampire like Dio.
Yeah, I mean, that would explain some things.
Her unrelenting bloodlust. Her,
the dark arts.
The dark arts.
Mind manipulation.
Her hatred of the Joestar family. I mean, it all checks out. Her ability to use stands. I mean, to make vampire thralls of anything she wants. Yeah, this all checks out. We're cool.
Yeah, it's a cool theory. It's fine.
Summon zombies of Latvian bloodlords.
Well, I mean, Satoshi was dressed up like that sunflower, so
it's kind of the same, right? Oh,
sure.
Golly.
Yeah, I saw that, and then I there weren't quite as many Mudadas because I didn't really pick up on it.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I did notice the screams, and I wasn't really prepared for that voice actor.
Oh yeah, to
do those
he's
screams.
So good.
But
he's so good.
As soon as he did them, I'm like, these screams are what got him this job.
Yeah, he can perfectly.
Like, this will be amazing come the steamroller.
But yeah, he does do a really good... I don't know if that's the same voice actor. But yeah, now the voice actor that does Dio for Tokyo Tomare is really good. But no, he mudas a lot. Muda.
I will try to look for that next time.
Oh yeah. Listen for it, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, so are you excited for JoJo 3? Now that JoJo 4?
I am.
Where we get Zappelli and his amazing hat.
I don't know anything about Zappelli and his amazing hat.
Well, did you not see the episode preview after the post roundabout scene?
All I saw was a lot of not Dio, which is fine, and apparently, what's her name?
Zappelli and
Erina shows up again.
Yeah, Erina shows back up. Yeah, we get a bit of a pause before we
get Dio-ified again,
because we actually get the Joestar magic power, because everybody gets magic powers, and Jojo has to learn his magic power.
Oh, good.
So he's going to learn his magic power so he can actually take on the evils of Dio.
I mean, he did a pretty good job without any magic powers this time.
I know. This time. Of course, Dio was just testing out his powers. He doesn't have full command over them yet.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, Dio did all of this within like 5 minutes of becoming a evil immortal vampire.
Mm-hmm.
So, heaven only knows what else he can do. Like, take over a small Latvian country. So,
or make
watch out for that.
Old woman explode.
Make an old woman explode. So, watch out for that.
We will see.
We will re.
Yeah. Hey everyone, thanks for listening. If you'd like to get in touch with us to ask questions, make comments, or just tell us how wrong we are, you can reach us on Facebook and Twitter at Aniki Podcast. or via email at podcast@aniki.fm. See you next time.